Team building and team chemistry, and now these players are losing coaches that they're really close to, and you take more of a positive stance on it. How do you keep the team from not kind of falling apart even more, losing coaches that they're close to?
I don't think losing coaches really impacts team chemistry. I think the most important thing is how can we help them build team chemistry, because team chemistry is, first of all, them learning to play for each other, learning to play for Tennessee, and learning to have a great trust with each other and with the coaching staff and with everybody in the organization. And that takes work. I think anybody who's a part of any team, whether it's in business, whether it's in the military, whether it's in sport, that's always a challenge. So we have a lot of things that we're doing in the off season to help that. We've tinkered with some things, but I think more than anything, it's growth and maturity. That's what it is, because the more you invest in something, the more important it is to you. That's just a fact. So that's why seniors are so much more passionate about the success of a team than freshmen. It's just human nature, because they've invested 4 or 5 years in the program, and the more you invest in something, the more it hurts you, the more important it is. It's human nature. So I think time's going to fix that more than anything.
You said after the Kentucky game that your staff needed to trust each other more. You got 4 coaches who have left. Was there some trust or chemistry issues with your staff as you reflect back on the year? And what did you mean by that comment after the Kentucky game?
I didn't remember that, Brent. What did I say?
You said your staff needed to trust each other more as you move forward. As a staff, I think your exact quote was, as a staff, we need to trust each other more.
I don't know what I was referencing there, but I think more than anything is, look, after that game, it starts with us taking responsibility as coaches. And there's a lot we could have done differently and a lot we could have done better. And I don't ever run from that, even though some people, take some comments and think that I do. Nothing's more important than that. And probably what I was referencing is we got to do a better job as coaches, starting with me. And we're going to do that. So I think it's just part of building that team, and trust is a big thing with that, and that's going to come over time.
It may have been in the emotional state, but there seems to be a lot of, seniors who said that this team lacks leadership. Do you think there are players who will emerge this year?
I think we have a ton of guys who have incredible leadership ability, and I think they're going to take ownership of that this year. So I'm really not worried about leadership this year. So it's like I said, part of becoming a good leader is the time you have invested. It's your commitment level to the program, and it's your willingness to kind of take the role of saying, by God, we're going to do this thing. And we got a ton of guys. I've already had great conversations with them that just can't wait to turn the page and start over.
You mentioned as far as replacing coaches, you don't have a timetable, but how important is it for you to get guys in place before national signing day?
I think that's a fair statement that, of course, the quicker you can bring them in, but the most important thing is getting the right guys who can help you win next year. And so, that's the delicate balance in all this, Jimmy, is, you want guys quickly, but you can't compromise, what it's going to look like on the field next year just to get the national signing day. So that's the challenge. It's hard.
Derek, is your criteria for defensive coordinator any different this time around? I mean, is it you only have more Southern ties or SEC knowledge, or is that a big deal?
I'd hate to sit here and box myself into it, because when you start this dialogue, what sometimes you think you want, then all of a sudden somebody appears and you go, gosh, this is a pretty good hire right here. So I don't really, I have some ideas, but the most important one is what can help us win the most next year. And I'm, that's going to be my focus from the beginning. Now, certainly you want somebody who understands the challenges of the SEC, because it is a challenging league. And there's a lot of different challenges here than there are in other leagues.
Schematically, does he have to fit your personnel? Because you're talking about, you got to win next year, that kind of thing. Can you bring in a guy who's a, total different schematic philosophy than what you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're going to go radically different. But, people, we were pretty multiple in what we did. So I think our personnel can fit to a lot of different things.
Derek, one of the guys that you have hired to fill the spot is Jake Graham. We've not visited with you since that hire. I mean, how's What appealed to you about
Jay?
and how's that process
Well,
gone over about the last month?
He's got every quality that you want in a coach. He's certainly a great person. He's cares about the student athletes. He's done a remarkable job in his short career of coaching players and motivating them and getting them to play well. And then add to it what he's done at this place. You know, it was pretty much a no-brainer for me. So we're glad Jay's back to his family, and he's going to have a big role for us going forward.
Sorry, Brent alluded to the pressure to win. I mean, how much pressure do you feel to win moving forward?
Well, you feel it every year in this league, you know. I mean, and you know what? It's not just this league, guys. I mean, Akron, who we play next year, Kansas, and Memphis. I mean, they parted ways with their coach after 2 seasons. And I think, you know, if that doesn't say, hey, buddy, every year you're on the line, that's the way it is. And that's part of the profession. But what you can't do is you get so drawn into that you lose your focus of what's important. And what's important is, what are we doing every day to help us go out there and play better next season? And that's all we're focused on.
You referenced the conversations you've had with some of your players. What have your conversations been like with Tyler, and how has he kind of handled the
Been
disappointing?
great. It's been great. He was crushed after the game. We had probably a 2-hour talk, you know, a few days after, just reflecting, and it was awesome dialogue. So, you know, I think sometimes those hard things are good for you in life, and people hate for me to say that because nobody wants hard things to happen in our program. But sometimes it makes you better, and that's what adversity does. It really sharpens your focus and allows you to acknowledge some things that you need to work on. It's going to help us as coaches, and it's going to help Tyler, and it's going to help all our players.
What's the status of Derrick Rogers?
I don't know why y'all keep bringing that up. There's Rick's on our team. He hadn't been suspended, but Jimmy keeps telling me, they keep asking out there. I don't want to talk on our roster issues, but Rick is on our team and he's good. I don't really get it, but it just continues on. I guess it's just like me retiring. It just we used to get our fix for drama about, I guess, 20 years ago in the afternoon soap operas. That was the only drama you could really get that got you all stimulated. But now we get it 24 hours a day, man. And there's a lot out there. But I guess it's a mistake not getting involved in the drama because you don't even know. Thank God I have Jimmy kind of, I used to get my annual chatter update from Hubs at my radio show, right, Brent? And, but that's what we're in. And, and it can, the drama can become a reality and if you don't address it. And I'm acknowledging that. That's why I'm here today. It's one of the reasons I'm here today.
Well, he hadn't asked for a release.
Who?
Derrick Rogers.
No.
There.
Derrick's fine,
Well, did you say something to your team in the meeting after the Kentucky game?
I'm not going to talk about what goes on in our team meeting, Jimmy. I mean, come on. I say something to our team about players every day, all right? So, what else, John? What do you got?
Some recruits said that you talked to them late Sunday night about the coaches leaving.
Mm-hmm.
What was your message to them? What's your message?
Well, I think the important thing is, number one, Tennessee hadn't changed. And all the things that they really fell in love with when they got here and they saw it, the program, how we're running the program, what we've done the last 22 months, the new facility, the support, the game day excitement, none of that's changed. And we have the resources and the attraction that's going to get some high-quality coaches. There's a tremendous amount of interest, and just stay patient. And when we hire who we hire, you'll have an opportunity to meet them because that is a factor, but it's certainly not the factor. And I've told recruits that all the time. That shouldn't be the factor. What I also tell them is this is an early part of the bad kind of part of our profession that you're going to have to deal with as a player for the rest of your career. You go to the NFL, if you play 8 years in the NFL, you might have 8 position coaches and 4 head coaches. So the important thing is liking the program, liking the direction, liking the team, because ultimately that's what's going to define their experience in college.
Derek, do you anticipate any more changes on your staff other than the people you have to bring?
You know what, John, it can happen tomorrow. We could have 3 more, get offers. So I know this, I always said that probably the toughest month in a head coach is January. Because the coaches are free agents and the recruits are free agents, and it's just, and that's how it goes. But that's okay.
Coach, is there any more urgency, at least, to get the coordinator in place because of recruiting, or would you not let yourself go down that road?
I've acknowledged, the quicker the better. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's no big deal if we take our time. The quicker we can get somebody in, the better. But what I'm not going to do is compromise who we get because we got to get somebody fast. So I'm going to be diligent, but I'm also going to recognize that time's important.
And do you know yet if you'll make that guy make his staff hire, or is there a chance
I don't know. That's all going to depend.
Derek, you said you're not surprised by any guys getting offers or anything like that, but I guess you've now turned over 5 assistant coaches in about the last 12 months exactly. Are you surprised any by that?
Mm-mm. I mean, my whole career has been like that. We had about 4 a year leave. When I was at LSU, every year we averaged about 3 or 4 coaches a year. When I was at Miami, we had a bunch leave. When I was at Louisiana Tech, we had a lot of turnover. I mean, every staff I've been a part of, you have turnover. And, there's a few programs out there that guys are there for 20 years and long stability. But what's happening, the market dynamics are changing that. I mean, money's changing it, and I think because now people are flying all over the country to go coach. It used to be a little more regional, and it's different now. And then you get out there and you go, well, maybe I don't fit in or whatever. I'm not saying that's the case in ours, but it's just a lot more transient today than it has been.